Do you know what you would be doing today if the world hadn't gone all post-apocalyptic in 2020? You would probably be playing Jurassic World Evolution 2 and watching videos of me building something ridiculous in Sandbox, because that's what I'd be doing. And later you'd be watching Jurassic World Dominion for like the 10th time or something, because it's awesome. And you know it's awesome because you've seen it 9 times already. You see, if the world hadn't ended due to someone snacking on a bat, and I don't know what he was thinking, maybe he thought it would be like his superhero origin story or something, but Jurassic World Dominion would have released in June 2021, and Jurassic World Evolution 2 probably would have released 2 weeks before then, same as what happened with Fallen Kingdom and the first game. Just think about that for a second. You could have seen Jurassic World Dominion in theaters several times by now, as often as you'd wanted, and then come home to play Jurassic World Evolution 2. Instead, we're still waiting for both, and you're watching a DLC speculation video for a video game that's not out yet, and a DLC that hasn't even been announced. We're gonna make it fun though. We love talking about Jurassic World Evolution 2. This is like pre-gaming, but yeah, 2022 and 2021 could have and should have been a lot better. I guess it could have been worse. We could have been hit by a meteor or something, but that still sucks. But now that history was not allowed to repeat itself and we didn't get our Jurassic World movie and game at basically the same time, what does that mean? Jurassic World Evolution 2 is releasing on November 9th, and Jurassic World Dominion isn't hitting theaters until June 22nd of 2022, 7 months later. They cannot put story-spoiling content in the game 7 months in advance, and they also wouldn't want to miss out on the massive hype surrounding the movie premiere. So the obvious solution is a Dominion DLC for Jurassic World Evolution 2, and that is what I want to talk about in this video. What would be in that DLC? What kind of content could we expect from that? And how much would it cost? Hello everyone and welcome to another Jurassic World Evolution 2 video that you didn't ask for. When Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom released 2 weeks after the game launched, 6 new dinosaurs with new dig sites and new unlocks in the InGen database were added for free. They couldn't put that in the content in the game beforehand and steal the movie's thunder. It's very likely that for that same reason, some key Dominion content will be missing from Jurassic World Evolution 2 at launch. A 7-month wait is about the perfect time frame to drop a DLC, so what could be in this DLC? For starters, I'm assuming this DLC will introduce a new Chaos Theory mode story. As we know from Chaos Theory mode, we will be dropped into the movie scenarios and take matters into our own hands. The Chaos Theory mode for Dominion could potentially include massive spoilers for the movie, even if they dance around that a little bit with what-if alternatives. At the moment, we know very little about the plot for Dominion, aside from the obvious: dinosaurs have spread across the world, causing trouble, and our protagonists have to solve this problem somehow. I would hope that the marketing doesn't blow the load prematurely and trust that the return of all of our favorite characters and just the promise of seeing lots of dinosaurs on the big screen again will be enough to get butts in the seat, and they won't spoil everything trying to peddle tickets. But we'll see how that goes. They don't have the best track record for keeping things under wraps. Either way, I think a Dominion Chaos Theory mode would give away way too much of the goods too soon. Because come November 9th, we probably haven't even seen a trailer for the movie yet. In a video where I correctly predicted the release date for the game, I also theorized that the first trailer for Dominion wouldn't drop until November 23rd. So even if the trailer is going to take a spoilery route, they can't have the game beat them to it by 2 weeks. So let's put a Dominion Chaos Theory mode in the DLC cart. Now, I don't think that the DLC will introduce any additions to the main campaign, unlike DLCs for the first game, because the entire campaign is already set after events of Fallen Kingdom, so we'll already have a lot of elements in common with what they will be doing in Dominion. And getting into the specifics is exactly what Chaos Theory mode is for. Next up to add to the DLC is the obvious: the dinosaurs. Regardless of what we saw in the preview set in the Cretaceous or what we will see in future trailers, I don't think Dominion exclusive dinosaurs will make it into the game until after the movie premieres. Remember from Fallen Kingdom that dinosaurs like the Carnotaurus, Allosaurus, Baryonyx and Stygimoloch were already revealed in the trailers, we had already seen them, but they still didn't get added to the game until the movie released. From here on out, the video will contain minor spoilers for Jurassic World Dominion, namely which species have been confirmed to appear and what they will look like, as well as a certain company making its return. So please click away now if you have somehow still managed to avoid these kinds of spoilers and you want to keep it that way. The dinosaur species that are making their first appearance in the franchise in Jurassic World Dominion are the Oviraptor, Morus intrepidus, Lystrosaurus, not a dinosaur, I know, Quetzalcoatlus, and Atrociraptor. These are going to be the species that get added to the game through a DLC, of which I'm still expecting the Oviraptor and the Morus intrepidus to be feathered, since that is how they are portrayed in the movie, and Frontier has stated that the dinosaurs are meant to be authentic to their movie appearances. The only way these dinosaurs might not be feathered in the game is if these species make another appearance outside of the Cretaceous era preview and their modern day clones don't have feathers. That is still possible. But considering games like Prehistoric Kingdom, working with a much smaller team and on a smaller budget, can also do feathers so beautifully, I really think that Frontier and Universal shouldn't sleep on this. But these 5 new species aren't going to be the only additions. Dominion also showcases some familiar dinosaurs looking different from how they look in the first game or in the earlier movies, namely the Giganotosaurus, the Dreadnoughtus, and the Tyrannosaurus rex. These species have undergone some physical transformations that should not be ignored if the game wants its dinosaurs to be movie authentic. The Giganotosaurus has a vastly different model. This remodel is quite controversial. Some people love it, some people hate it. Whatever the case is, this is now officially what the Giga looks like in the movie franchise, and the game has to follow suit. However, since the Giga was a popular big theropod from the first game and looks to already be confirmed to be in the sequel, looking like the Jurassic World Evolution model Giga, I think the Giga will get a remodel through the Dominion DLC. The same thing they did with the T-Rex, the Stego, Para, Brachyraptor, and Triceratops with Return to Jurassic Park. We keep the old models and get new ones added on top. The same will go for the Dreadnoughtus, which looks slightly different in the preview for Dominion. And this could also possibly mean a feathered T-Rex is being added. People who are not fans of dinosaurs with feathers have always gotten very nervous whenever I mention feathers in my videos, and the comments have always been along the lines of, I don't want them to replace the dinosaurs we have now with feathered ones, or I don't want them to force feathered dinosaurs on us, and, well, the truth is nobody is saying that is going to happen, because it won't, frankly. The T-Rex is not going to be replaced with a fluffy Rex. It's probably, maybe, possibly going to get a feathered skin added on top of it, as an option if you want to use it. It's never going to be the case that we'd only have feathered Rexes or feathered Raptors. That's not what the franchise is. But given the direction that Dominion has taken, it would be the perfect excuse to add some feathers to some species as optional add-ons for people who are a fan of that. So these are the creature additions that I'm predicting a Dominion DLC would include. Of these things, the creatures and the Dominion Chaos Theater mode, I'm actually quite certain. I'd be very surprised if this isn't going to be the case. But for funsies, let's speculate some more about other things they can add and, of course, discuss what the price tag might be. What they can also add is some Dominion-themed content. In the deluxe edition, we're getting DPG vehicle skins, and if we pre-order, we get the Lost World-inspired vehicle skins. It seems like kind of a no-brainer that with a Dominion DLC, they can bring in Biosyn vehicle skins, because we've seen some of that in behind-the-scenes photos already. If they want to go above and beyond, they can also do something similar to Return to Jurassic Park, and also give us reskins of facility buildings, like give us a Biosyn-styled research center and fossil center, stuff like that. If Biosyn is going to end up being the villainous entity in the movie, which I do suspect, that is actually one of my predictions on my Dominion bingo card, then these additions would be less likely. But then again, the Lost World vehicle skins were also modeled after the antagonists of that movie, so who knows. It would be nice if they gave us a new type of building on top of everything. We've already seen that we can fly dinosaurs directly out of the incubation lab, and we also know that we will be capturing wild dinosaurs in some of the story modes. A Dominion exclusive building that combines the two would be really cool, I think. In Return to Jurassic Park, we could incubate dinosaurs via the helipad and fly them in directly. What I think would be a nice new mechanic is if we get a building, like a trade center, where we can buy dinosaurs that other organizations have caught in the wild. And then there's like a slight delay as they have to get ready for transport, after which we can drop them into our parks. Another thing I would appreciate is if the Dominion DLC would bring in a new genome mechanic the same way Secrets of Dr. Wu did. Thanks to that DLC, we could make our dinosaurs more social or more stress resilient, or the exact opposite of that. It was a really nice thing to have, which is something I kinda hope is actually part of the base game this time around. What I think with Dominion they could do is add a feather genome, which can be applied to certain species. If they do this, then this could be how they bring the feathered Rex into the game. But the feathered genome could also then be applied to raptors and some other species. Not a lot, it would be quite exclusive, which would save Frontier time and would preserve the overall non-feathered look of a park, but it would be a nice thing for fans of feathered dinosaurs to be able to play around with. That brings the potential total content for the speculative Dominion DLC to this. And that's a lot. If this would be the content that it adds, I would expect pricing to be similar to Return to Jurassic Park, which was $20. I've mentioned a possible Dominion DLC before, and a lot of people expressed that it would or should be for free, since it would be movie content that is supposed to be in the game anyway. However, the same could be said for Return to Jurassic Park. You could argue that we should have had some content from the trilogy that started it all in the base game of Jurassic World Evolution 1. Especially since the first Jurassic World movie leans so heavily on references to the original, including even showing the visitor center. And aviaries were in Jurassic World, but they didn't bring that movie content in until RTJP as the old aviary from Sorna. Clearly they have no qualms with keeping some movie content, some of the most popular and most requested movie content, behind a DLC paywall. And that's not necessarily on Frontier, that's probably universal, and at the end of the day, it's business. As a consumer, we certainly don't have to like that, but we can't expect any differently. The first game released the Fallen Kingdom dinosaurs in a free update, but I suspect the timing of that played a big role in it being for free. It would be kinda off-putting, actually really off-putting, for a company to add paid content after only 2 weeks. After 7 months and at the height of Jurassic World hype, I think people would be willing to spend money on a DLC, begrudgingly or not. It would almost be altruistic of Universal and by extension Frontier to add it for free, which is not an expectation I have from big businesses, because they would 100% be missing out on a lot of money if they make it a free update. But still, I wouldn't rule it out entirely. If the content is limited to just the dinosaurs and Chaos Theory mode, it's possible that it is for free and they're just banking on the renewed interest in the franchise at that point, which could convince a lot of people who haven't bought the game yet to buy it at that point, so that they'd still make a lot of money. What do you think? Do you think Dominion content will come as a paid DLC or as a free update? And what do you think it will include? Share your thoughts in a comment down below and hit the like on the way down if you did indeed enjoy the video. For more Jurassic World Evolution 2 content, subscribe to the channel. I'm kind of obsessed with it, and if you are too, we should join forces and become undefeatable. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy the anticipation.